My Uber driver canceled my ride when he saw my destination was a cancer hospital. What happened next changed both our lives. You sure this is the right address? My Uber driver glanced at his phone, then back at me standing on the curb with my small overnight bag. Memorial Sloan Kettering, yes, I confirmed, sliding into the back seat. It was my third round of chemo, and I'd finally learned to pack light per just essentials and one good book. I watched his face change in the rear-view mirror without a word. He pulled over barely a block from my apartment and started tapping his screen. Sorry, something came up. I need to cancel this ride, he said, not meeting my eyes. The ride disappeared from my app. I sat there stunned as he stared straight ahead, clearly waiting for me to exit his car. Is it because I am going to a cancer hospital? I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. His shoulders tensed. Please exit the vehicle. I was too exhausted to argue. At 28, stage 3 ovarian cancer had taught me to save my energy for necessary battles. I reached for the door handle when he suddenly spoke. My wife died there 3 years ago, breast cancer. I just can't go back. His voice cracked on the last word. I froze, my hand still on the door. I am sorry about your wife, I said quietly, but I really need to get to my appointment. He turned around then, really looking at me for the first time, at my thinning hair partially covered by a beanie, the pallor I couldn't hide with makeup. How old are you? He asked. 28. He closed his eyes briefly. My Sophia was 32. Something in his expression, part raw grief still so fresh, part made me stay. I'm scared every time I go, I admitted, but I am more scared of not going. He nodded slowly, then turned back to the wheel and restarted the ride on his app. I'll take you, he said. Sophia would be furious if she knew I left you stranded. The first 10 minutes passed in silence. Then he asked my name. Maya, I told him. I am Alejandro. Examen calls me Alex. Somehow during that 30-minute ride we started talking. Tertol really talking. He told me about Sophia's 2-year battle, how they'd met in college, her passion for teaching kindergarten. I shared my diagnosis, my postponed graduate studies, my collection of hideous hospital socks. When we arrived, he insisted on walking me to the entrance. Maya, he said hesitating, would it be inappropriate if I checked on you, maybe drive you next time? I smiled. I'd like that. What started as a canceled ride became a standing appointment. Every Tuesday, Alex would drive me to chemo. He'd wait sometimes for hours working on his laptop in the hospital Quesfaya. Then he'd drive me home, making sure I got inside safely. One particularly rough day when the nausea hit before we even left the hospital parking lot, he pulled over and held a paper bag for me, then offered me water and a mint from his glove compartment. Sophia always needed mints after, he explained quietly. 3 months into my treatment, Alex arrived with a small gift bag from my mother-in-law, he explained. She's been asking about you. Inside was a hand-knitted purple beanie and a note. Sophia wore this one. Purple brings good luck. Fighting with you, dear. I wore it to every remaining treatment last week. I rang the ceremonial bell marking my final chemo session. Alex was there filming on his phone with tears streaming down his face. So was his mother-in-law Maria, clutching a framed photo of Sophia. She would have loved you, Maria whispered, hugging me. You gave him purpose again? Yesterday I started back at graduate school. Alex drove me there too, just to make sure you don't fall asleep in class, he joked. As I was getting out, he handed me an envelope. Implied was a business card. Rides of Hope Parentaire Services for Cancer Patients. I am starting a company, he explained. Favor specially trained for patient transport. Flexible scheduling, sanitized vehicles, drivers who understand. What made you decide to do this? I asked. You asked me once why I became an Uber driver after working in finance for years, he said. The truth is, after Sophia died, I couldn't focus on anything. Granite was simple: pick up, drop off, no emotional investment. He smiled. Then you got into my car and refused to get out. Sometimes the rides we try to cancel are exactly the ones we need to take, and sometimes the passengers who enter our lives aren't just going somewhere, Paintel, they're taking us somewhere too. Alex still drives me to my follow-up appointments. I help train his new drivers. And every Tuesday we visit Sophia's grave together, leaving a fresh mint on her headstone. Some cancellations become the greatest connections.